Shabbat shalom, everyone. I'll keep this short. I do have my eye on the clock. But anyways, this week we emerge from darkness into what's hopefully a much softer, perhaps healing light of Shabbat Nachamu. So coming just after Tisha B'Av, when we mourn the destruction of the temple, this Shabbat marks the first of 7 weeks of consolation, Shiv'ah D'Nechemta, leading us to Rosh Hashanah. And I would say that this shift from lament to comfort is very striking, because at one moment we are sitting low to the ground, we are fasting, we are chanting Eicha, Book of Lamentations, and the very next week we're hearing this lyrical call from the prophet Isaiah, Nachamu, Nachamu Ami, Yomar Elokechem. Comfort us, comfort. In case you're not sure, God, my people. So why is there this repetition? So there is a Hasidic teaching, and it's also a teaching that was taught by the Lubavitcher Rebbe, the Rebbe, that the double language, the repetition, reflects, again, I said this last night, a double wound. The loss of the first temple and the loss of the second temple. But it also, on a deeper level, points to this reality that human suffering not only comes from physical loss, it is emotional, spiritual, and also can be communal. So as a musicologist, I'm always looking at, many other sources that come into my head, and I was reminded of a particular person from history that I haven't thought about for a long time, Hildegard de Bingen, who is a Benedictine abbess from Germany. So why a Benedictine abbess from Germany coming into my head? Beyond the fact that she was also one of the first recorded with female composers, that's why her name is always something I will remember. But she wrote, and her years were 1098 to 1179. She wrote, or at least as a tribute to her, she said the words, "God hugs you. You are encircled by the arms of the mystery of God." And that really spoke to me this time around, thinking about the talit that we surround ourselves with, and that the physical actions that we take to encircle ourselves in God's presence. And I would say that she saw the relationship between humanity and God as one of sort of both divine compassion and physical comfort. The hug, this notion of the hug, and that the ways we feel these hugs. We talk about our almost like our security blanket that we hold, and the tzitzit that we hold. So again, this Hildegard de Bingen was on the same wavelength, I believe, as Isaiah, in that Isaiah's words remind us that comfort is not simply an emotion, it is an action. Comfort is something that we do for each other. And just as the destruction of the temple was not endured by one person alone, but by an entire people, so too, healing must be a shared project. Isaiah does not say, "Be comforted, each one alone." Isaiah is speaking to the whole community, Ami, my people. And in this week's Parsha, in Hanan, we're hearing this same theme of comfort after loss. So just as Isaiah is addressing the whole community, Ami, my people, Moshe speaks to Kol Yisrael, all of Israel. Moshe is recalling how he, in this point in the Torah, how he pleaded with God to enter the promised land and how that request was denied. It is a deeply, deeply personal loss. Moshe will see the land from afar, but never step foot in it. And yet, Moshe does not hide his heartache from the people. He names it, and then he teaches. Moshe turns to comfort the people, reminding them of the covenant made at Sinai. We were reciting the Aseret HaDibrot, the Ten Commandments, and teaching the Shema. That is how Moshe responds. What even himself, his heart is aching, and even though he you would not think that he would be able to comfort the people and be able to take that step. But that's what makes him Moshe Rabbeinu. So, and these words, again, have sustained us across time, a millennia. So I, too, naming and teaching, I have grief. Many of you know and remember my father died 8 months ago after being sick on and off for 15 years. Grief is complicated. We know complicated grief. But I didn't realize how complicated my grief was going to be in the weeks, in the months that followed. And the way that grieving can be so public and so private at the same time. I grieve. I have pain. And I can say from that experience that comfort itself, not just grief, comfort can be complicated. Because we want to fix someone's pain. We want to be able to offer words that are going to erase the hurt. But Moshe is modeling for us the truth that comfort is not about denying pain. It's about guiding one another toward meaning and hope in its midst. That's one of the reasons why I always say when someone tells me something really horrible is happening, it's not, oh, it'll get better. It is, you know what, it's okay, this really sucks. It's also okay to add some swear words too that I will not say now. But it's okay to say, this really effing sucks. And because that in itself is cathartic, because we have to talk about it. We have to acknowledge it. We have to name it in order to be able to move forward. It's significant, too, that Isaiah's words are coming after this fast day that's rooted in memory. And both Moshe and Isaiah are reminding us that we cannot be truly comforted until we have faced what has been lost. It's the same thing, when we talk about therapy and addiction, that you cannot help someone and they don't want to be helped. You cannot reason with an unreasonable person. You have to be able to accept and acknowledge before you can work to face the next path. And that's why this Haftarah does not erase the reality of exile. Instead, it reframes with the promise in the 5th verse that truly can be translated as the glory of God shall be revealed, and all of us together will see it. There is this sense of it's not all about doom and gloom. It's not doom and gloom. We've acknowledged it, we've mourned, we've sat Shiva, we've done everything, but now we are moving on. And then even more so, almost as if the calendar itself is conspiring in some ways to lift up our spirits, we have Tu B'Av, which is also today, the festival of love, joy, and possibility. In ancient times, Tu B'Av was a day when the daughters of Jerusalem, Benot Yerushalayim, would go out into the vineyards dressed in white, and young men would meet them there. The Talmud calls it one of the happiest days of the Jewish year. So, the 15th of Av, the happiest day of the Jewish year, in contrast with the 9th of Av, the saddest day of the year. The fact that it's coming so soon is really no accident, because it's teaching us that after destruction, after loss, there can still be renewal. And then after heartbreak, there still can be love. Tu B'Av teaches us to transform our mourning into dancing, and reminding us that community and connection are themselves acts of healing. In our own lives, comfort often comes not in sweeping away the grief, but we have to create space for the joy to return. Sometimes that's going to happen in the small moments, and sometimes there'll be ones that you can see. Comfort comes from truth-telling, not from pretending everything is fine. It's okay not to be fine. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry. As long as you acknowledge it and you talk about it. So Shabbat Nachamu and Tu B'Av together remind us that this journey from loss to wholeness is made possible by the presence of others, those who are sitting with us in sorrow, and those who will come to celebrate with us in gladness. which is a different response, again, to what our natural instinct is. We are reminded to not rush to cover grief with easy answers, but to affirm with presence, with listening, and hope. So, as we begin the 7 weeks leading into the High Holidays, I urge you all to carry both Isaiah's vision and the joy of Tu B'Av together, and Moshe's teaching all together. And may we find, again, the courage to give and receive comfort, the openness to allow love back into our lives, and the strength to walk together into a year of compassion, hope, and renewal. Shabbat Shalom.